Senator Padilla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to begin by thanking all the witnesses for your testimony on this very important topic. It is not an understatement to say that our democracy depends on a healthy and vibrant information ecosystem. And this requires, for example, that all of our communities can readily access online news via a high-speed internet connection, a reliable internet connection, that people are equipped with information and media literacy skills responsive to today's complex content streams, and that they're served by a thriving free press that includes media outlets, journalists, and broadcasters that both reflect and are responsive to the diversity of our nation. Economic recessions and a loss of advertising revenue has devastated the news industry. In the last 20 years, more than a quarter of the country's newspapers have disappeared. Local, regional, community, and independent media are understaffed, under-resourced, and in need of assistance as they work to identify new, sustainable business models. It's critical that Congress explore how we can assist the news industry as it tries to find its footing during this transition period. Ms. Bertetto, I know from personal experience that local news is so vital to keeping communities in California informed, particularly during elections, for example, or during and after natural disasters. You touched on it during your opening statement, but can you discuss what's at stake if local and community-facing news outlets disappear, particularly when it comes to our democracy or public safety?
Of course. So our readers, again, being a small publisher in southwestern Pennsylvania, rely on us for the information they are literally not going to get anywhere else. So that is covering school board meetings, that is covering city government, that is letting them know when the bridge is out in their community, that is letting them know when the Senior Citizen Center is going to be open during the cold winter months as heating stations. We often provide that very content as well to the television broadcasters. So often they're relying on us to inform them so they can spread the message through their channels. Obviously, as newspaper staffs continue to dwindle, what will become very problematic is there will be no one. The Washington Post and the New York Times will probably be fine no matter what is decided. But New Kensington, Pennsylvania won't be. Who is going to report on New Kensington, PA if my company isn't doing that? How are we going to have an informed electorate? How are we going to have a society that understands what is happening in local government, state government, and national government if my company is not providing them those resources?
No, thank you. Those are great examples. I appreciate that. Not every bridge failure makes national cable news.
Exactly.
And God only knows how contentious school board meetings are in this day and age. Given the importance of local newsrooms to our democracy, I'm deeply concerned that newsroom employment in the United States has dropped by 26% since 2008. Ms. Bertetto, in your testimony, you stated that the Journalism Competition and Preservation Act, the JCPA, as we're referring to it, would help small publishers make additional investments into the community and hire more reporters. A question for both Ms. Bertetto and Mr. Oaksley. Can you discuss the importance of explicitly tying benefits from the bill to job creation and retention?
Presently, in our company, about $7 million is paid out in salaries to journalists on staff. To give you some sense of what we earn presently from Google, it is $144,000 a year. So I really feel I'm starting at zero, and any additional monies that could come in could certainly help to keep reporters on so we can stop this decline, because it's astronomical, the number of reporting positions I'm seeing leave our market. I also think that with 100, when you're looking at $144,000 and say I can get 600,000, just for example, I could cover more communities. I could add beats. I'm presently making decisions every single day about which communities we can afford to have a reporter in on a full-time basis and where we have to decide to have a part-time reporter or no reporter at all. Any additional economic relief to help me avoid those decisions would certainly be welcome.
Mr. Oxley?
And the same goes for us. Our sizes aren't all that different. Our newsroom costs about $12 million to run every year. And what we're finding is more and more has to be switched to the digital side, even though the digital side really doesn't make us money. At best, over the years, we've broken even. In the last 10 years, our digital overall revenues off of our website have barely moved, and the costs have gone up a lot. So if we were able to have money come in, and I think that the JCPA could provide that by having a level playing field, having a seat at the table, then we would be investing in reporters. The very thing I get all the time from all of the people on the content side and the programming side is, can I add people? And of course, we would like to add people. Also, our area has grown exponentially. It wasn't that long ago that the whole area in Washington, D.C. was 3 million people. Now it's about 6 million people. Yet our newsroom has not been able to grow in size because we have not been able to really change in terms of growing our people. But the very first thing we would do would be to add more journalists. And the one other thing I would say about the journalists that we would add is they're professional journalists. And I think that is a huge point here. These aren't people who are doing clickbait, or they're people who are researching these stories. They've been educated to do that. They know what they're doing, so they make sure to get it right. We have a saying at our operation: before you get it first get it right. And that means getting good sources. That means verifying. That means doubling, tripling, quadrupling your efforts to make sure that you've got it right before you put it out. And that way people get the facts. And that's what people need in local news.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Just in closing, I know the conversation has also gone in the direction of what else the industry is doing to find solutions, short-term and longer-term, during this transition period. And I'd invite the ongoing conversation of what else Congress can be doing, both in the short term and the longer term, to help the news industry. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you very much, Senator Padilla. I think it's down to just Senator Lee and myself.